Have you ever walked into a room and everything shifted? People glance up without knowing why. Conversations pause. The atmosphere thickens. You didn't say a word. You didn't try to command attention. But somehow you did. This isn't about looks, or status, or even confidence. It's about energy. Carl Jung might say, your aura just spoke before you did. And that's where this journey begins. Because while most people think of auras as mystical or new age fluff, Jung saw something deeper. Something more rooted in the unconscious. Something far more powerful. He didn't use the word aura often, but he described it in everything he wrote about the self, the shadow, projection, and the radiance of individuation. To Jung, your psychological integration, or lack of it, broadcasts. It leaks into the room. It shapes how people feel around you. It either attracts or unsettles. And that's what we're exploring today. The unexpected signs that your energy field, your presence, your aura, is far more powerful than you realize. Because power doesn't always look how you think it should. It's not always loud. It's not always charming. And it's never performative. In fact, the most powerful auras are usually the most misunderstood. They come from people who face themselves. Not just their talents or dreams, but their fears, their shame, their darkness. And that inner confrontation creates a presence that the world feels, even if it can't explain it. So what are the signs? Let's start with the subtle ones. 1. People confess things to you. Strangers, co-workers, even people you just met. They begin to spill their stories, their secrets, their shame, and they don't know why. This happens because your energy feels safe. It feels solid. And most importantly, it feels like it's not wearing a mask. When someone's aura is grounded in truth, it creates an opening for others to be real, even if just for a moment. Jung would call this the pull of the self, that archetypal core within you that, once activated, becomes magnetic to everything that is seeking healing. 2. You trigger people without doing anything wrong. You set a boundary, and it offends them. You speak honestly, and they accuse you of being harsh. You remain calm in chaos, and they call you arrogant. This isn't about you. It's about resonance. A powerful aura mirrors people back to themselves. And not everyone is ready to face what's reflected. Jung warned of this. He said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But most people don't want to understand themselves. They want to avoid themselves. And when you show up clear, authentic, unbothered, they project their disowned parts onto you. You become the screen for their movie. It's not personal. It's energetic. And if you're not aware of this dynamic, you might shrink yourself just to make others comfortable. But please hear this. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. 3. You often feel like you don't belong anywhere. This is one of the most painful signs. And the most overlooked. A powerful aura often comes with a deep sense of alienation. Why? Because you've changed. You've let go of the masks. You've stopped performing. You've done the work most people avoid. And now, shallow interactions feel unbearable. Small talk drains you. And environments that once felt familiar now feel suffocating. This isn't because you're broken. It's because you're becoming whole. Carl Jung described individuation as a kind of spiritual exile. Not because you're better than others, but because your energy no longer vibrates at the same frequency. You're not interested in judgment or gossip. You'd rather sit in silence than fake connection. You crave depth, meaning, truth, and that makes you different. Not superior, not enlightened, just aligned. And alignment is lonely until you find others who've walked the same road. 4. Technology sometimes reacts to you. This one sounds strange, but ask anyone with a powerful aura and they'll nod in agreement. Street lights flicker when you walk by. Your phone glitches when you're emotional. Electronics behave oddly around you. Is it superstition? Maybe. Or maybe your biofield, your energy, is so strong that it interacts with subtle electrical currents. Jung was deeply interested in synchronicity and the bridge between the psyche and the physical world. He believed the unconscious wasn't just in your mind. It shaped reality itself. So maybe it's not so far-fetched that your aura, when fully activated, would ripple into the material world. 5. You attract extremes. People either love you or resent you. They either want to follow you or avoid you. There's rarely a neutral reaction. Why? Because you're clear. And clarity is confronting. Most people live in a fog of unconscious behavior. They project, deflect, suppress, and perform. They haven't faced their shadow, let alone integrated it. But you've begun that process. You've looked in the mirror and refused to turn away. You've owned your wounds, your patterns, your pain. And in doing so, you've become someone who feels like truth. And truth is polarizing. Jung wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." You've lived that, and your aura broadcasts that. So people sense it, even if they don't understand it. Some will admire you, some will misunderstand you, and some will try to dim you. But none of them can ignore you. Because when you've done the work, when you've come home to yourself, when you've integrated your darkness instead of denying it, you radiate something ancient, something unforgettable, something true. That is the unexpected power of your aura. To understand why a powerful aura affects others so deeply, we need to look beneath the surface of behavior, into the architecture of the psyche. Carl Jung didn't see the human mind as just neurons and thought patterns. He saw it as a vast inner universe, a place where gods, monsters, ancestors, and symbols lived on in every one of us. He called this the collective unconscious, a shared psychic inheritance made up of universal archetypes. These archetypes aren't just abstract ideas. They're living forces. They shape how we see the world, how we love, how we fear, how we exist. Now imagine someone who has become conscious of this inner world. They've met their shadow. They've danced with their anima or animus. They've integrated the exile within and brought light to what was hidden. When this person walks into a room, they don't bring just a body or a personality. They bring depth. Their aura is charged with the weight of archetypal integration. They carry the hero and the wounded healer, the sage and the outcast, the lover and the destroyer. This is not metaphorical. It's energetic. People feel it, even if they don't have language for it. They may say, "You have a vibe. There's something different about you." Or, "You intimidate me and I don't know why." Because they're not responding to you. They're responding to the archetypes you've embodied. Let's take a deeper look at how this shows up in real life. 1. You magnetize projection. Jung warned that when a person does not become conscious of their own shadow, they will project it onto others. This is what happens when people say, "She's so arrogant," about a woman who dares to take up space. Or "He's manipulative," about a man who speaks with grounded authority. When you've integrated your shadow, people who haven't will unconsciously place theirs on you. You become the canvas for their disowned parts. And this can be exhausting, unless you know what's happening. It's not about being better than others. It's about being responsible with your power. A powerful aura must come with powerful awareness. That means recognizing when someone's anger isn't really about you, when their distrust is a relic of their past, when their jealousy is a cry from their inner child. You are not here to carry it for them, but you can choose how to respond. A clear aura doesn't retaliate. It reflects. It holds space. It stays grounded in its truth. 2. You trigger awakening in others. This one's surprising, because it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes, just by being yourself, you make people start asking questions about themselves. You didn't give advice. You didn't try to fix them. You just lived in alignment. And suddenly they're questioning their job, their relationship, their beliefs. This isn't because you're trying to convert anyone. It's because your aura is a reminder of what's possible. You're living proof that healing is real, that depth is real, that clarity is possible, and that can either inspire people or make them deeply uncomfortable. Because to see someone who's done the inner work forces us to face the parts of ourselves we've neglected. It breaks the illusion, and not everyone is ready for that. 3. You attract people in crisis. This is a heavy one. When your aura is strong, grounded, and open, you'll often find yourself being approached by people in deep emotional pain. They sense, on some level, that you can hold it, that you won't judge, that you understand what suffering feels like. And often they're right. But this is where discernment becomes critical. Because being energetically open doesn't mean being emotionally available to everyone. Just because someone needs you doesn't mean they're safe for you. A powerful aura doesn't equal unlimited access. You are not here to rescue everyone. You are not a savior. You are a mirror. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no. Boundaries are not a rejection of compassion. They're a protection of clarity. Jung believed the self is sacred. Your aura, when aligned with that self, becomes sacred too. Treat it that way. 4. You feel emotions more intensely. Many people with powerful auras are also empaths, intuitives, or highly sensitive individuals. Not because they're fragile, but because they're attuned. When your field is strong, it doesn't just broadcast. It receives. You pick up on subtle shifts in energy. You notice when someone is lying, even if their words are perfect. You feel the tension in a room the second you enter. This emotional sensitivity is a gift, but only if you learn to navigate it. Untrained, it can feel like a curse, like the world is too loud, too chaotic, too raw. But grounded in awareness, it becomes a kind of superpower. You start trusting your instincts. You stop second-guessing your gut. You realize that what you feel isn't just yours. It's often a reflection of the collective field. And with that realization comes choice. You can learn to clear your energy, to ground, to shield, to lead with clarity instead of drowning in confusion. 5. You know who you are, even when no one else does. This is the deepest sign of all. A powerful aura isn't just about how others respond to you. It's about how you hold yourself when no one's clapping, when people misunderstand you, when they leave, when they mock your path, when they tell you you're too intense, too weird, too deep. You stay rooted, because you've met your soul. You've faced your fears. You've walked through the valley and come out the other side. And now, your energy remembers who you are, even when your mind forgets. This is what Jung called individuation, becoming whole. Not perfect, not pure, not saintly, whole. And a whole human carries a frequency that shakes the room, not because they try, but because they are. That is the truth of a powerful aura. Not sparkles, not crystals, not affirmations, but depth, honesty, courage, and the unwavering willingness to be real. By now, you understand that a powerful aura isn't simply some mystical glow. It's an energetic signature forged in the fire of self-awareness. But there's something even more important to grasp. A powerful aura doesn't just affect others. It affects you internally, physically, spiritually. Carl Jung believed that the more we integrate our unconscious contents, the more we become whole. But that wholeness doesn't come without cost. It creates ripple effects throughout the entire body-mind system. Your nervous system, your immune system, even your dreams. So what happens inside you when your aura begins to strengthen? 1. You feel more alone, but more aligned. This is the first paradox most people encounter. The deeper you go into yourself, the less company you find. You stop resonating with small talk, surface-level relationships, and artificial harmony. It's not that you're better than others. It's that you're tuned differently now. You're no longer seeking connection for validation. You're seeking resonance. And that kind of connection is rare. So yes, there's a loneliness that comes with a powerful aura. But it's not the same as isolation. It's a sacred space. A space where you finally meet yourself. Where silence becomes company. Where solitude becomes medicine. This loneliness isn't a flaw in your journey. It's part of the rite of passage. Jung knew this well. He said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And most people never do. But you're trying. You're doing the inner excavation that most avoid. And that's why your aura begins to resonate differently. 2. Your body becomes more sensitive to truth and illusion. This is a surprising one. As your aura strengthens, your intuition moves into the body. You'll feel nausea around lies. You'll get headaches when someone is emotionally repressed. You'll feel heat in your chest when something's in alignment, and chills when it's not. You start noticing that your body becomes a barometer for truth. Why? Because your nervous system is no longer numbed by chaos or codependency. It's clear, attuned, responsive. Jung believed that the psyche communicates through symbols, but not just in dreams, in sensations, in symptoms, in unexpected gut reactions. Your body becomes your second voice, and it doesn't lie. Pay attention to the fatigue you feel around certain people, to the tightening in your stomach in certain places, to the restlessness in your bones when your soul is being ignored. This is energetic intelligence, and it's a sign your aura is alive and activated. 3. You start dreaming differently. One of the most overlooked signs of an awakening aura is the change in dream content. Jung devoted his entire career to dream interpretation, not as superstition, but as science. He believed dreams were the royal road to the unconscious. And when your aura begins to grow, your dreams change. You may experience recurring symbols, vivid encounters with archetypal figures, old wise men, feminine spirits, animals, prophetic or deeply emotional dreams that linger for days. Why? Because your aura is connected to your psyche's integration process. And dreams are part of how your unconscious recalibrates your conscious mind. You may also experience what Jung called big dreams, dreams that feel more mythic than personal. These carry messages from the collective unconscious and often signal a major transformation in your life path or identity. Do not ignore them. Record them. Reflect on them. Let them inform your waking decisions. Because a strong aura doesn't end at the skin. It stretches through the psyche, bridging your inner and outer world. 4. You experience rapid inner transformations. When your aura is aligned, things move faster. Old patterns crumble overnight. Relationships shift. Opportunities appear or vanish. You may even notice yourself behaving in ways that feel unfamiliar, but not wrong, just new. This is the result of energetic coherence. When your aura stops leaking energy into false identities and unresolved trauma, that energy becomes available for actual growth. It's like plugging a hole in your psyche. Suddenly you have energy again, for creation, connection, clarity. But this comes with growing pains. You might feel like you're losing your identity. Nothing makes sense anymore. Everything around you is falling apart. That's not destruction. That's reconfiguration. The personality you built for survival is no longer needed. Your aura is now reflecting the self, not the mask. This is what individuation really feels like everything old is dying, but something truer is being born. 5. You feel the burden of responsibility. Powerful auras are not just about visibility. They're about influence. You may find yourself in leadership roles you didn't ask for. People look to you for guidance. You become the emotional anchor in your family or friend group. You're the one people confess to, cry around, ask advice from. And at times this can feel like too much. But here's the truth. You don't have to carry others. You only have to carry your clarity. Your job is not to fix, rescue, or perform. Your job is to be rooted in truth. Because in a world full of noise and manipulation, someone with a clean aura becomes a lighthouse. You don't push others to wake up. You shine so clearly that those ready to rise do. That's the secret Jung never made dramatic. He didn't say, become magnetic. He said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That's what strengthens your aura. Not pretending to be powerful, but simply remembering who you are, beneath all the programming, all the projections, all the inherited shame. That remembrance, it changes everything. Now that we've explored how a powerful aura affects your mind, your body, your dreams, and your relationships, there's one final layer we need to uncover. And it might be the most important. Your aura doesn't just reveal who you are. It reveals who you're becoming. Carl Jung didn't teach psychology to make people feel good. He taught it so they could become whole. And wholeness, in Jungian terms, isn't about being perfect. It's about integrating every piece of yourself, the light, the dark, the wounded, the wise, into a coherent inner world. That coherence, it radiates. And what people sense in your presence, even if they don't know why, is the energy of someone who is no longer divided. But here's the final twist. The more powerful your aura becomes, the less personal it feels. Let me explain. As you individuate, as you integrate your shadow, your inner masculine and feminine, your childhood wounds, your energy becomes transparent. Not as an invisible, but clear. Clean. Free of distortion. You stop needing to be seen as special. You stop trying to impress or dominate. You no longer manipulate or perform unconsciously. Instead, your aura becomes a vessel for something larger than the ego. It becomes an instrument for the self. Jung described the self as the organizing principle of the psyche, the totality of who we are, beyond persona or identity. When your aura aligns with the self, something sacred happens. Your presence stops being about you. It starts being about what you transmit. Peace, stillness, strength, courage, love. People feel it around you. Not because you said something brilliant, but because you are attuned. This is the final unexpected sign of a powerful aura. You don't need to prove your power anymore. You just embody it. But don't be fooled. This path is not glamorous. It's often marked by long periods of solitude, ego deaths, a disillusionment with the world, a shattering of false identities, a letting go of everything that once gave you worth. Because the truth is, you can't carry divine presence while clinging to human approval. And so your aura purifies, through heartbreak, through losses, through letting go, until what remains is pure essence. This essence doesn't shout. It hums. It doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't compete. It magnetizes. And when you walk into a room with this kind of clarity, you change the entire frequency. Not because you want to, but because you can't not. You become the mirror people didn't know they were avoiding. Some will thank you. Some will attack you. Some will vanish without explanation. And that's not your concern, because your job is not to make people comfortable. Your job is to walk with presence so embodied that it invites the sleeping parts of others to begin waking up. That's the ultimate gift of a powerful aura. Not attention, but awakening. To live in such deep alignment with your inner truth that simply being in your presence becomes medicine. Jung knew that the world doesn't change through force. It changes through transformation of the individual. And the more individuals who integrate their unconscious, who become whole, the more the collective field shifts. So if you've been doubting yourself, if you've been wondering why you feel so different, why you feel so much, why you often feel unseen, misunderstood, or too much, maybe it's not a flaw. Maybe it's a signal, a sign that your aura is trying to carry more light than you've ever allowed before. But light can't come in until you stop clinging to the darkness that once kept you safe. So here's the final truth. Your aura will only ever be as powerful as your willingness to face yourself, to heal what hurts, to speak what's unspoken, to break what's false, to love what's real. You don't need to seek power. You are power when you stop running from who you are. So breathe. Stand tall. Let the world misunderstand you, because your energy isn't here to be liked. It's here to liberate, and in that silent liberation, you'll find everything you've ever been looking for. A life that fits your frequency. People who feel like home. A peace that can't be shaken. That's the gift of a truly powerful aura. Not more noise, but more truth. And when you're ready to walk that path, not as a trend, not as an identity, but as a way of being, the aura will follow. Because it was never separate from you. It was you, waiting to be remembered. If this resonated, subscribe to the Awakened Compass and join our membership. You're not alone. You're just ahead.